Hello, my name is Robert Bell, though I go by Bob. First, I'd like to thank Bentley for inviting me to participate in this event, and I'm really sorry that I can't be there in person. I wish you all well. I hope that you have a great day with it. Now, just a few words about myself to start with. I grew up in the Sioux, attending Queen Elizabeth Public School and then Sir Jamestown High School. I still have many friends and family members residing in the Sioux, and I visit our family cottages, which are on Bright Lake, located between Thessalon and Iron Bridge, several times a year to go birding. And by the way, speaking of birding, there's a great, very talented birding community in the Sioux, very knowledgeable. Some of you may have known my father, Tom Bell. He was a science teacher and vice principal at Lakeway. His brother Bill, my uncle Bill Bell, was my principal at Queen Elizabeth Public School. And a third brother, Alan Bell, was vice principal at Bowading, and then principal at Collegiate, and then when White Pines opened, he was the first principal there. So I am the author of one book titled Out of the Limelight and Into the Sunlight, Birding as Therapy for the Chronically Ill. I had gone through a very frustrating experience of trying to get a diagnosis and treatment for a very bizarre set of symptoms that came on rapidly, which ultimately proved to be Lyme disease. The conventional medical system was so frustrating. They basically seemed totally skeptical that Lyme even exists in Canada. So I ended up having to seek diagnosis and treatment in the United States, and as well with what I would call alt doctors, alternative medical practitioners here in Canada. Um, Ultimately, Lyme forced me to retire prematurely. And at that point, I discovered that birding and spending time in nature was a wonderful coping mechanism to deal with my chronic aches and pains and conditions. So I initially wrote my book for myself because it was just cathartic to get it out of my system. Um, I am humbled to say that my publishing process, it was a combination of using Google and pure luck. On a whim, I submitted my manuscript to several Canadian publishers, and to my surprise, it was picked up by one Hancock House based in British Columbia. It was published in December 2022, so it's almost a year out now. My book chronicles my journey through the medical system, my Lyme treatment, my premature retirement, and my subsequent discovery of birding, and how it really is very helpful as sort of a form of mindfulness to get your mind off your medical health issues. Um, my topics seem to really tick, pardon the pun, all the boxes with the publisher, all the topics that they specialized in, a combination of autobiography, nature, outdoors, birds, and general wellness and health. Uh, Given my luck getting published without having had to, beat on a lot of doors, I consider myself to be an accidental author, and I must admit that imposter syndrome is still running strong within me. Um, However, the photo I provided Bentley when he asked for an author photo shows me holding my book in a bookstore in Hamilton. And behind me on the shelves, you can see books by well-renowned, famous authors like Roger Tory Peterson and Sibley. To see my book next to theirs is very humbling and makes me think, geez, maybe I really am an author. If I were to write another book in a different genre, it would probably be a pure autobiography of my life, uh, pre-Lyme and pre-birding. I was a mineral exploration geologist. I worked all over the world. I accumulated 35 years of travel adventures and some very interesting stories. Um, everything from surviving a helicopter crash and lightning strikes to bear attacks on a tent camp. I had used a couple of these stories and the introduction to myself in my book just to show what my life is like and that it came to us before Lyme and how it came to a screeching halt because of Lyme. And, while I've been giving book talks over the past year and a number of people that have read my book, a very common comment has been, we would love to read more of your mineral exploration stories. You should write another book. So it would almost be like a prequel, Rocks Before Birds, I guess. But I have no illusions that I might be so lucky as to find a publisher again that easily if Hancock House isn't interested in picking it up. My book can be ordered online from Amazon or Indigo or from Hancock House at um, hancockhouse.com, www.hancockhouse.com. But most importantly, I'm really proud to say that you can buy it in the Sioux at the Artesian, which is located at 514 Queen Street East. Or for those living down the line, you can buy it at S&S Creations, which is just on the west side of Bruce Mines, also known as the Pudding Stone Store. Um, I don't believe the Sioux Library is carrying my book, at least not yet. So maybe one of you can put in a request to have it carried. I should mention that to keep costs down, the publisher put the paperback edition in black and white only, whereas the hardcover copy, which they didn't print very many of, are in color. So the black and white didn't do much justice to all my bird pictures I had included, trying to show, just how beautiful these creatures are and why I love them so much. Um, so, if you are interested in birds and want to see more, I do post pretty much daily on both Facebook and Twitter under the handle The Birder Bob. So feel free to look me up and follow me, or send me a friend request to Facebook, and I'd love to have your comments on my photos. So that's about it. Thanks again for inviting me to this opportunity to share my story, a Reader's Digest version of it. And I hope your event goes well. I wish you all good reading and good health and good birding. Thank you.